Chapter 75. Retreating the Enemy. These three were all Jidan stage powerhouses, and not just any Jidan stage powerhouses. Each one of them exceeded the strength of Wu Fei, who had been defeated by Kang Tian. What made Kang Tian's heart palpitate was that the black-clothed old man's aura was incomparably huge, second only to the Yuanying stage powerhouse he had seen last time, and it seemed to have reached the peak of the Jidan stage. No wonder the little girl was forced to flee even with her strength of 8 turns of Silver Dan, and the 4th level of the Jidan stage. Wow, little white boy, hurry up and help. This young lady will treat you to a nice candy gourd. Just as Kang Tian was surprised, the little girl saw Kang Tian below and flew down with a swoosh, shouting at Kang Tian. The old man in black and the 2 youths followed closely after him. Little girl, you're a real pain in the arse. You can't get rid of your scourge anywhere. I really don't know if I owed you in my previous life. Kang Tian was depressed. The road sees the injustice and pulls the knife to help. Little white face, if you help this miss this time, this miss will guarantee to give you a few words of praise in front of Sister Wu, to ensure that you hold a beautiful woman. The little girl thought that Kang Tian was seeing death and immediately shouted, "Little girl, you again nonsense. I really see death to save." Kang Tian sniffed and glared. "Anla, Anla." The little girl immediately shut up when she saw this. She didn't dare offend Kang Tian at this time. "Kid, don't mind your own business. Be sensible and leave quickly." At this time, the black-clothed old man appeared, not far from Kang Tian's duo. Immediately following the descent were 2 youths. These 2 youths had a negative sword behind their backs, and a negative sword behind their backs. Their breaths were almost extreme, but they had a few points of connection. As the black-clothed old man's words fell, 3 powerful pressures immediately came, making Kang Tian's heart shocked. Not to mention the black-clothed old man. These 2 youths alone were not simple. What surprised him more was that the other party's age was not older than him by a few years. However, the black-clothed old man was even more surprised. Kang Tian was able to resist the pressure of the 3 of them's aura. His own strength was absolutely extraordinary, which made him very scornful. And at that moment, he once again said in a deep voice, "Kid, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business." The 2 youths also looked grave, as they sensed Kang Tian's extraordinary nature. "Stinking old man, do you want to be shameless or so old and still bullying little girls? And also bullying by many? This miss if you long ago wiped your neck to kill yourself, save wasting the food of the cultivation world. If your mum saw you like this, she would definitely regret giving birth to you." Before Kang Tian could say anything, the little girl on the side instantly screamed. She was afraid that Kang Tian would be spoken to by the old man in black. Kang Tian secretly laughed. This girl was really good at cursing. It was like a city hooligan. He didn't see that the black-clothed old man had already been exasperated to the point that his face was covered in iron. "Little girl, you are too uneducated. Today Oldby will replace your family to teach you a lesson." The black-clothed old man was on fire. His huge breath surged out, ready to strike immediately. However, the little girl was 1 step faster than him, and without waiting for the black-clothed old man to finish speaking, she took down the coffin board behind her and smashed it over. And all of a sudden, the sky and the earth changed color, the wind roared, and the evil aura rushed to the sky. The ordinary black coffin board suddenly became the size of a small mountain. Entrapped with a vast power to suppress and down, the terrifying evil chi surged in this space, stirring up a shocking wave. Kang Tian was instantly shocked. Just a coffin board was so strong, then how powerful should the complete black coffin of the little girl's master be? "Old man, don't you want this coffin board? This young lady will give it to you now." The little girl laughed out loud, controlling the coffin board and smashing it against the black-clothed old man. The terrifying power immediately caused the black-clothed old man's face to change drastically. Little girl unbridled. The black-clothed old man's strength was incomparably strong, and he immediately reacted. his thick true essence erupted, sweeping through the entire space like a tornado, resisting the coffin board's oppression. The two youths were shaken out by the terrifying pressure from both sides, but they immediately flew in and attacked towards the little girl. "Wow, bullying the few with the many. You guys are shameless. Little white boy, get on," the little girl shouted at the sight. Hearing that little white girl, Kang Chon was so angry that he spat out blood. He couldn't wait to leave right away. But thinking that the little girl's master was kind to him, he decided that this time, he'd better make a move to save the little girl. Thinking about it, Kang Chon's internal true essence erupted. The purple blood boiled fiercely, and the huge power came out voluminously, forming a terrifying force that blocked the attacks of those two youths. Kang Chon's power shocked those two youths, and the two sides fell into a stalemate. "What a strong strength. You actually haven't formed a Dan." The sword-bearing youth behind him was surprised. "7 turns. When did an expert like you appear in the young generation of the Great Tang country? Under my name Deng Yizon. Please teach me." The sword-bearing youth behind him also had a shocked look on his face. "Under me, Teng Yijian," the sword-bearing youth behind him said in a deep voice. Teng Yijian and Teng Yichang. Could it be the swordsman and swordsman of the 7 heroes of the Great Tang dynasty? I didn't think that these two would be brothers, truly a sword and sword duo. Kang Chon's eyes instantly narrowed. The two youths in front of him were actually of such origin. It was really surprising. Looking at their strength, if he were to change 7 days ago, he might not have the certainty of defeating one of them. The name of the 7 warriors of the Great Tang dynasty was indeed true to its name. At the foot of Fendu Mountain, Kang Chon was inexplicably caught up in a big battle by the little girl. Facing the sword double best of the 7 warriors of the Great Tang dynasty, he didn't dare to have a trace of carelessness. The whole person's essence was adjusted to the peak state in order to meet the upcoming battle. On the opposite side of Kang Chon, Teng Yi Chop and Teng Yi Jian brothers' eyes flickered. Both are staring at. For Kang Chon, they are very jealous, although both sides only contact once. But they have found that Kang Chon's strength is not below the Great Tang 7 heroes, completely called the Great Tang Youth Peak Experts. The 3 people's gazes just met together, stirring up a cold aura of moroseness, instantly making the air filled with a heavy atmosphere of tension. Not far away, there were even bursts of shocking sounds, adding to the sense of oppression in the hearts of the 3. That was the little girl and the black-clothed old man fighting. Both of them were incomparably powerful, and the sound of the battle shook the heavens and moved the earth, causing people to be shocked by what they saw and fearful of what they looked at. The black-clothed old man's cultivation was heavenly. His strength had already reached the peak of the 9th level of Jiden, just 1 step away from being ranked in the Yuanying stage of the ancestor level. Each of his strikes was a volley of mountains and seas, turning the heavens and the earth upside down. However, the little girl was even more powerful. To be precise, it was her coffin board that was too powerful. And in the midst of waving it, it was simply like a huge mountain constantly crashing down, forcing the black-clothed old man to be in a sorry state. However, the black-clothed old man was, after all, a peak 9th level Jiden stage powerhouse, and although he couldn't do anything about that coffin board, he was still able to navigate his way through the situation without being injured by the little girl. He now only had to wait for Teng Yixiang and Teng Yijian to defeat Kang Chon, in which case the 3 of them would join forces and the little girl would definitely be undefeated. Not far away, the sword and sword double Jedi, who were holding on to Kang Chon, seemed to know what the black-clothed old man was thinking, and immediately erupted to astonishing auras, forcing their way towards Kang Chon. A great battle was imminent. Sensing the tense aura, Kang Chon's eyes changed, his body's true essence erupted, and his aura skyrocketed once again. The next moment, Teng Yijian's eyes narrowed, and the divine sword behind him instantly unsheathed, emitting a brilliant light, shooting out a 10-odd feet long sword chi pike, carrying the might of heaven and earth towards Kang Chon. At the same time, Tengi Chop's gaze was cold and stern. The divine sword behind him broke the seal and came out. Its body glowed fiercely, exuding an icy cold murderous aura, and under the urging of his thick true essence, a 10-feet-long sword came splitting face to face. The blade and sword double absolute struck at the same time, one on top of the other. Perfect coordination, sealing off all of Kang Chon's retreating paths. This was an extermination. The two of them wanted to end the battle quickly, so that they could join forces to clean up the little girl. However, would their thoughts go as they wished? A cold light flashed in Kang Chon's eyes. His long hair that was draped over his shoulders was windless. A majestic domineering aura erupted from his body, and the air currents in the air suddenly went berserk. A violent tremor occurred in the surrounding space. Kang Chon's body immediately erupted with a blazing purple light, and the vast energy surged and swept through the entire space. The magnificent figure in the transit map reappeared in his mind, and an unattainable domineering aura rose from his heart as Kang Chon transported his thick true essence and blasted out with a single punch. Boom! There was a heaven-shattering sound. The entire space seemed to collapse instantly as the three vast energies collided together. The powerful force rushed into the earth, instantly causing the ground to be covered with countless spider silk-like cracks. The blade and sword double Jedi were directly sent flying, and the Kang Chon was also flooded with shattered soil. The entire space was in chaos, shrouded in a violent storm, unable to see the scene clearly. Again, suddenly, in the midst of the rolling dust and smoke, a figure with messy hair flying and covered in a purple light slowly walked out. His eyes were like the blazing sun in the sky, a blazing radiance that made people not dare to look directly at him, exuding a shocking battle intent. Tengi Chop and Tengi Jian, who were shaken away in the distance, were very shocked. Only until this moment did they truly feel Kang Chon's strength. Definitely above them. One person alone was not an opponent at all. Only two people joining hands would have a chance of winning. Your Excellency, good strength. In addition to the Imperial Capital 4G, among the 7 heroes of the Great Tang Dynasty, the only ones who can withstand the attacks of my brothers are the Mad Hero Lei Yun and the Mad Hero Shen Taji. Dare to ask your name? Teng Yijian asked in a loud voice, while Teng Yixuan on the side also looked at the sky with a grave expression. The two of them were known as the Sword and Sword Double Jedi. Each of them could be ranked amongst the 7 heroes of the Great Tang Dynasty. Their strength could be imagined. What was even more terrifying was that the two of them shared the same mind, joining forces to multiply their power. And in the young generation, only a few people were able to withstand them. However, now that they were being blocked by Kang Chon, a youth they had never seen before, the two were naturally incomparably shocked and puzzled in their hearts. No need for nonsense. Defeat me before you are qualified to know my name, Kang Chon said coldly. At this moment he was like a god of war that descended from the sky, majestic battle intent sweeping across the sky. The two men's faces changed slightly, and Teng Yichang angrily shouted, arrogant. His figure rose up from the ground. The divine sword in his hand blossomed with a brilliant light. Space seemed to have been split by him, and the 10-odd feet long sword awnings were shocking. On the other side, Teng Yijian knew that Kang Chon was powerful, and hurriedly drew his sword to match, shooting out countless terrifying sword chi that ravaged the heavens and earth, and mightily swept through the land. Kang Chon had long been prepared for battle. He activated his Overlord Fist, as if he had turned into a supreme god of war. Between the boiling of Kang Chon's blood in his body, the surging true essence swept out, just like a volcano that had been dormant for many years erupted violently, and the wild energy spread out to the sky and the earth. A fist blasted out. The domineering aura was boundless. The entire space was in turmoil. The boundless airflow formed a terrifying tornado storm, surrounding the 3 people in the battlefield. The after effects that escaped from the battle between the three of them shattered the earth beneath their feet, a terrifying crack extending out, shocking people to watch. With 1 against 2, Kang Chon did not lose, like an undefeated god of war, the king of heaven and earth, looking out of the corner of his eye. The two brothers, Teng Yijian and Teng Yichang, became more and more horrified as they fought. Kang Chon's strength was beyond their imagination. With only his 2 fists, he was on par with them, and did not lose out in the slightest. Not good, this kid is surprisingly so strong. On the other side of the battlefield, the black-clothed old man's eyes were aghast. His pale face was filled with shock. In his opinion, although Kang Chon was powerful, he was only at the level of the great Tang 7. With the strength of the blade and sword twin Jedis teaming up, apart from the Imperial Capital's 4 Jedi, no one in the young generation should be able to withstand it.